Tuned in before, John Wells is Caravan to Midnight, heads something called Caravan to Midnight, very popular radio program. John, what do you broadcast, Monday through Friday?
Monday through Friday, new program posts at 10 p.m. Central. Monday through Friday with, since it's a membership service, we don't want to leave everybody out, so the stuff that we really feel like everybody, some people can't afford $5 a month. They can't. I mean, it's a reality. Many people can't imagine such a thing, but it's the way it is now. So we put stuff up on YouTube. If it's information we feel like everybody needs to see, we're not going to hold out on them for a few bucks. We're not going to do that. But that having been said, our members make it possible for us to bring people on that can say whatever they want, and also allows us to do things like send a crew up to Newtown, Connecticut, for example. And pay those expenses as they do the research and in the support of Wolfgang Halbig's efforts to expose that whole thing. So, we treasure our members because, frankly, without them, we couldn't do it.
That's right. You did a great expose on that. And, folks, it costs money to sell. I mean, as we found out, it costs money to do this. So, and if you want the research, if you want the product of the research, investigative research product, man, you got to kind of chip in and help do this. Well, here we are at this conference. Now, for the people who haven't been able to come, or not even live streaming, what's your takeaway from the conference here? What do people need to know? I mean, we were talking before the interview about a number of things, but what do you think the most important takeaway is from this?
Well, it's like anything else. It's like any other event that you attend. You have an expectation that it's going to be one thing, and when you get there, sometimes you're pleasantly surprised to find that it's more than you thought it was going to be. And now, on occasion, there'll be the occasional clinker where you go, "Wow, that's a little bit of a letdown." But that's not the case with here, the Watchmen. When you and I were talking earlier, I'm not going to try and recreate the conversation. I said, this is what we should tell people, and you agreed.
Yep.
Joe did too.
Yep.
Brother Mike is the guy who founded this thing. Well, when you call him Brother Mike, and he explained on Caravan that it's like, well, everybody's calling me bro or brother, hey brother, so he went with Brother Mike. It's like, okay. But to some people that would suggest that he's a man of the cloth, like he's an ordained minister, and I don't think he is.
No.
However, that said, we do have Pastor Billy Crone here. There are some, men of the cloth, as it might be, right? So it's as though the whole program is wrapped in Christian spirit, but it does not exclude anyone. However, the fact that it doesn't exclude anyone tends to pull people in to where their minds are open to possibilities that they may not have examined before. So when you get somebody up there like John Robertson, who's talking about, we call him the Hollywood Insider, right? And he's talking about everything from Illuminati symbology and actual symbols there in Hollywood and replications of Babylonian this and Sumerian that, and you're looking at these photographs going, his presentation just keeps rolling. You understand that these things that are written in the Holy Scriptures are being, some of the, shall we say, negative aspects of existence, Luciferian, demonic, whatever, there's a lot of replication going on in modern life, and people may not want to acknowledge this. I don't want to do anything biblical. It's like, well, there's stuff that's biblically based happening all around you. And so it's a wonderful forum for people to get, really pretty much unambiguous information and connect it in their own way to their spiritual side. And it's like it's not like a tent meeting where people are playing with snakes or anything like that. I mean, different strokes for different folks. That's not my thing.
Right.
But the most important part of it, it seems to me, is that people wanted to come here. They wanted to hear these people say what they had to say. And if there was a Christian component, they wanted to hear that too. So, and so many people couldn't attend.
Right.
So guess what? Set up a live stream for them, and now they can attend, electronically. And altogether, I think it is much more than I thought it would be. I already thought it was going to be something well worth attending, but it turned out to be much more than that. And the speaker lineup is great, and they're given tons of times to speak what's on their minds, and it's 100% experience as far as I'm concerned.
If I can ask you this, we had talked before earlier. Here, the Watchman. Watchman has this, as we had said, biblical connotation to it.
Yeah.
What's a watchman? Well, and I've seen this before. This big concern over, well, you can't be called a watchman because you don't conform to the biblical identification of a watchman. Well, John, what's a watchman? I mean, to you, what's a watchman? It's somebody who tells the truth, right? It's somebody who warns people. It says, "Look, things are coming. Things are bad. Look around you. Things are taking place." I mean, to me, that's a watchman. It doesn't have to be anything less or anything more than that. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Well, I agree with you completely. It's a watchman is one word, and priest is another.
There you go.
And if you're up on the wall watching, it doesn't matter if you're ordained in a given sect or not. You're watching, and the thing is, somebody very near and dear to me, I tend to repeat things sometimes because I want to make sure as many people as possible hear it if I really think it's worth saying to begin with. But somebody very close to me, we call him Mr. Ghost, he's my son, told a friend, couldn't understand why he was concerned about chemtrails or fluoride or chlorine or the agenda that he perceived was well underway, and at a rather nice high school he was in, but he saw this as more of an indoctrination than actually learning any academics. And one of his contemporaries said, why do you do this? Why are you even interested in this? And being a young buck, he just came right out of the chute with it. He said, people like me and my dad and people that he knows are here to help protect people like you.
Wow.
And I thought, wow, that came out of my son's mouth. That's pretty strong. But that's the truth. The Hagmanns do their report not because there's some big reward at the end of the day, other than going, I did my best to tell people what's really going on. People like you are doing this thing to help protect people who are not aware of what's happening to them.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think we're all in this together.
Absolutely,
as watchmen. And folks, here's my takeaway from this, or here's my summary to this. Here is John B. Wells. He could be doing 1,000 other things, a million other things, in terms of today and professionally. Folks, tune into Caravan to Midnight. Certainly support Caravan to Midnight. Understand what is going on around you. Look around you. No one's looking around. And to me, that is the ultimate sin. Being ignorant is one thing. Staying ignorant is something totally different. Tune in to Caravan to Midnight and subscribe. John, again, your program airs Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock p.m. every Monday through Friday.
Yep, new program, 10 o'clock p.m. Central every night. Unless the server's slow, and then there might be a little delay, but we do our best.
So that means 11 o'clock, the real time, which is Eastern p.m. Okay.
Yep.
All right, but 10 Central. And subscriptions are very inexpensive. And folks, we're subscribers, and I would urge everyone to be. But just want to say thank you so much for being part of Hear the Watchman. Truly, you are a watchman. I don't think this conference would have been the same without you.
It certainly would have been the same without you. And I mean, this isn't look.
Yeah,
We're not
I
holding hands under the table.
No,
you know,
no.
I like and admire the. We call them the Hagmann boys very much. They've been doing this for a long time. They've been doing it longer than we've been doing Caravan, and it was such a pleasure to have you call me up out of nowhere when I was doing Coast to Coast AM and have me come on your program. And
I remember that. It was fun.
that was a lot of fun, and I thought, wow, this is very interesting. Yeah, you know, I'm sure it's probably the same way with you as it was with me. I'm not going to presume, but I'm guessing that it was. You just do what you do. Don't plan too much, and just see how things crinkle out. You know, and you wind up, instead of having a job, you wind up with a mission, which is what I'd rather have anytime. You can get a job anywhere, but a mission, those are a little bit harder to come by, particularly one that's, you know,
Certainly a distinction with a
worth
difference.
working, you know.
Right.
We've learned if you just show up, the Lord takes care of the rest.
I'm telling you. Look, let me put it this way. If this, in my own experience, if this isn't driven and run by the Lord, then nothing else in the universe is either, because I didn't plan any of this. I'm not going to say, well, I did this and I did that. I didn't do anything. All I did was just follow the steps that were, a little stone would appear and I'd step on it and keep going. So I don't know where we're going, but we're going somewhere, and I'm not doing this, and it's very, very interesting. So let's just keep stepping on it and keep going.
Amen, brother.
And here we are.
And here we are, indeed. Folks, here are the Watchmen. Here are the Watchmen Conference, Dallas, Texas. Whether you were here and have this or missed it, you get to see behind the scenes. This is John B. Wells from Caravan at Midnight, the real John B. Wells. Of course, talking to Joe Hagmann. On behalf of Here are the Watchmen, thanks for tuning in. John, thank you so much.
Thank you, Doug.
All right, sir.